Yay! Perfect. It's all
Pasha, we should just do this. People are already online.
I know. I was like, let's just do it. No, because I thought I'm not gonna have enough time to get my look on. But hey, look.
Wonderful.
I was upset because I couldn't find. I have a brooch from you, and I was gonna wear that, but I couldn't find it.
Wear it in your mind.
Yeah, I am wearing it in my mind. Hi.
Hello.
Perfect. We already have 3 people in here. I'm good. I'm good, yes. I've been reciting our little interview in my head all day today. So I was like,
wonderful.
You look great. You look great.
You look great.
No, you look great. Oh, I should also probably get my notes prepared too. Yeah, it's good that we started 5 minutes earlier. I just wanted to make sure that, because this was the first time I'm actually doing this. I've joined on other Instagram lives, but I've never actually had. Perfect. And I have my list of notes here. Beautiful. Is it also very hot and humid in Montreal?
It's gross.
Yeah. Yeah, yep. Same here. Same here. Oops. See, this is the sort of stuff that I have to be watching out for. Can you also see the MetalAid sign in my bag?
Oh, wonderful.
I tried. I think I was like, if because I just have these postcards left. But I was like, if pin shops were running, I would actually go and get like a nice MetalAid.
Oh yeah, that would be a very nice background.
Right? Yeah, because I mean, you can see half of my studio. Hi everybody, welcome. We're just waiting until 5:30 so we could get started. We started a bit earlier just to make sure that connections are right and everything, and then we'll start right at 5:30 because we're on time, people. Yes. Except I can't see my time. Hi, Catherine.
28.
Okay, perfect. We have 2 minutes. Hi, everybody. Also, I mean, I'm going to announce all of these again, but if anybody had any questions or anything from Marie-Ève, please feel free to type it, and we'll try to respond to the best of our abilities.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I know there's sometimes people do things here and leave the comments too, so everybody knows what's going on. Let me see if I can do it. Catching up with... We're learning here. No. Yeah, I need to become a bit better in the, because I've seen when people put the title, like they attach the title into the conversation, so it's up there so everybody knows what's going on as opposed to just walking into the conversation. I'll figure it out for next time.
Me how that works.
You're my what do you call it? You're my test right now. So thank you for that. Is it 5:30?
29.
29. I'll just start by introduction. I think everybody here fairly knows what's going on, but I'll just do a very brief introduction of myself and MetalAid, and then move on to Marie-Ève Castonguay, so she can take over, and then we could just have a conversation and see what's going on. So, hi everybody. My name is Pasha. I am part of the MetalAid team. We are based in Toronto, and we have beautiful members like Marie-Ève in Montreal. We'll get to that, but yeah, so and MetalAid is an organization. I think everybody here knows what MetalAid is, but I'll just go, hi Chantal. We're just an organization basically promoting and advertising for Canadian contemporary jewelry. And we also used to have monthly meetups every 2-3 months before COVID era, before the revolution, as we might say. But right now we were about to have a meetup around this time of the year, but obviously everything got canceled. A lot of people are doing live interviews. So we figured just to be able to bring the community closer to each other, introduce each other, see each other's works, basically come a little closer to each other, form more of a community. We figured that we should do this live Instagram where we reach out to you guys. And also just a side note, this is open to everybody as long as you're working professional. So if you're interested in doing this with us, please reach out. I will be conducting the interviews because I'm the least shy and the most talkative of everybody there. So they were like, we brought up the idea and everybody was looking at me. So I was like, okay. I mean, I brought up the idea. So everybody was looking at me and I was like, okay, fine, I'll do it. Hi, Sarah. Oh, this is great. There's a lot of people here. And I also will do a very brief introduction for Marie-Ève, Marie-Ève Castonguay. And then we'll just let Marie-Ève lift off. Marie-Ève is from Quebec originally, Quebec City. I had the wonderful opportunity to know Marie-Ève at Harbourfront Center. We were both artists in residence there. Marie-Ève has studied at NASCAD, and before that you were...
Ecole de joaillerie de
Ecole
Québec.
de joaillerie. Sorry. Yes, I was like, is that... Yes. So, and then after at NASCAD, and then she became a resident at Harbourfront Center. That's where I had the opportunity to know her. And then we've also worked at MetalAid. She's our longest lasting member at MetalAid, pretty much, right? Yeah. Yeah, well,
but kind of not anymore.
I know you have a new title. We discussed this yesterday. It was like, what do I do? Are you like MetalAid? What's going on? So we've decided that she's obviously the longest standing member to this date and a distant collaborator right now. So if anybody in Montreal or Quebec wants to reach out to us, and if there's something that we can't respond directly, Marie-Ève, she's a superhero, basically. We have so many superheroes lined up for you guys to talk to. She does a lot of things. I have a huge appreciation for her because she's very involved in the community, and also she's a master at what she does, in my opinion and a lot of other opinions I know. She's also very involved in the international community. Also, she is the Canadian ambassador for our jewellery forum. I really wanted to mention that because when we were on the phone yesterday, she said she hasn't had many inquiries within Canada, but it's a great, especially right now, since we have a little bit more time on our hands, it's a great time to get in touch with her if you have any questions or concerns regarding, our jewelry forum. And also she is the events and communication coordinator at Ecole de joaillerie in Montreal. About a year now, right?
Almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years. Wow.
Time
flies. Oh yeah, you've gone for 2 years. So yeah, and I'm grateful for her. Thank you so much for doing this. I was very happy that you're the first person because you were also part of MetalAid. I was like, it would be a nice introduction into the whole thing. And then we have a lot of more exciting guests for you guys that I will post about a day before or two. And then we'll hopefully have a whole list of schedule going out with our next newsletter for the oncoming interviews. So thank you, Marie-Ève. Thank you for being here. I'm gonna pass the microphone to you.
Thank you, Pasha. That's a very nice introduction.
My pleasure.
And thanks for having me. I feel very honored to be the launching person for this series of interviews.
Who better than you?
I don't know where to start.
Because the whole thing, I guess I could conduct that, but another reason why I should tell people that we started doing this is to just kind of, if people are comfortable with that, to touch up on the current situation, obviously how it's affected everybody, what's changed, what hasn't changed, what's going on, but no pressure, whatever you want to talk about, because I know you also have your home studio at home.
Yeah.
So,
I feel super lucky to have a home studio right now with everything that's going on. As you mentioned, I work at the Ecole de joaillerie in Montreal, and I work there part-time, and then so that's a little breakdown of what my life kind of looks like normally, pre-COVID life.
Yes, exactly.
So I work part-time at the Ecole de joaillerie, and then I have a home studio, which I am in right now, as you can see.
Yes, I can see that, yes.
So my home studio is relatively well equipped, but I don't have everything.
That's what I was going to ask you, if you have access to a lot of the things that you need.
Yeah. So the thing that's normally pre-COVID life, normally quite nice, is that working at the Ecole de joaillerie also allows me to access of the equipment there.
Yes.
And it's such a great, I mean, I feel like it's probably the same for you being a Harbourfront Center alumni. You're in Toronto. If you need to go and store big ingots, you can go there.
Exactly.
So having those institutions that are quite solid in your community are always it's always something you can benefit from and count on, and it's a really good asset for the community. And then with everything that's going on, as you know, the school is currently closed.
Yes.
So in the past couple months, I've had to sort of, it was actually kind of interesting because I was still working in my studio, but then did not have access to a lot of the equipment that I normally have access to. So I had to find, alternative ways of making and different solutions for making my work. And so it was a relatively, like, it was an interesting time, and I still felt really lucky to have a home studio to be able to keep doing some of the work. But it was definitely a learning curve because, if you don't have a draw bench, you don't have a big torch for pouring ingots, at the beginning I didn't have a rolling mill, now I do.
Oh,
Yay.
good. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so these were all sort of challenges that I had to face and sort of figure out pretty quickly once everything started. But then, I feel so lucky to have this right now because it's definitely makes a big difference. I see so many people that do not have access to a studio whatsoever, and that's so frustrating. And
it is also with the, when you were touching on schools, I talked to a lot of people, just because I'm trying to organize all of this with people. Whoever has some sort of a relation with an institution, everybody's just on the same boat. Nobody really knows what's going on. Nobody knows when they're going to go back to school. Nobody knows when, if classes are going to be online, if all that stuff, and it could get frustrating. But going back to what you were saying, it's because I also brought it's a mini studio right now at home, but at least I have some access to some things, which is great. But again, I think we briefly touched upon this yesterday too, the motivation. That's what I was going to ask. The motivation and the drive to work is very hard. So I don't know, how is it going with that with you?
It's funny because I feel like I started this mid-March when the school closed, and then I ended up being fully at home. At first I was like, okay, I really need to take advantage of these few weeks or however much time this is going to last, which is definitely more than a few weeks now.
Yes.
But I was like, okay, I really need to take advantage of this. It's going to be like a stay-at-home residency, and I'm going to come up with a new body of work. And I have because I have shows that were sort of coming up, but were postponed, but so I was like, ooh, I'm going to make so much work for this. It's going to be amazing. And I'm going to be so creative and
exactly.
So that was definitely frustrating. And, and also definitely a source of anxiety and guilt. And I found that really, really hard, and I still find it hard, but I'm sort of trying to be at peace with it.
Yeah.
But I don't know, having the pressure of, it's as if everything stops and then I had to be even more productive than I normally do.
Exactly.
So that was definitely a challenge. I've been still super active in the studio, but I ended up doing a lot of, I had custom orders that were just there since the past, I don't know how many months. And I was like, I can't do this. I don't have time. I'll do it later. And then everything stopped. And I was like, okay, let's do this now. So, and normally it's funny because I don't do so much of that stuff. I'll do orders every once in a while, that. And then creative, art jewelry pieces most of the time. And now it's been the complete opposite for the past couple months.
It's really funny. It's really funny because I sort of thought, when I also, not that this is about me, but when I was coming out of the studio, because we had to give the studio up, I tried to produce as much production work as I could. And now I'm working on custom one-of-a-kind pieces that I've never, I just haven't, you know me, I did more production pieces or kind of production, one of a kind. But now it's like all the projects from before that were just left, because there's mostly my friends too. So I was like, now it's the perfect time that I can attend to these custom projects. But the other thing which I was going to ask you too is that a lot of people that I outsource my work here in Toronto are just slowly starting to go back to work. They weren't really open till last week. So I just wanted to know, how is it in Montreal? Like, are people going back to work, or like casting houses, stone setters? Okay.
Yeah, some of the businesses have reopened like in the past couple weeks or so, but it's only everything's only on appointment. You can't really, because all of downtown Montreal is literally almost, well, maybe not to this day, because all the stores reopened yesterday, and I think it's been down there.
Okay.
But like, you know, like office buildings and stuff like that. And those buildings we all rely on, like 55 Cousin and blah blah. And Montreal is the one we all count on. So they're slowly reopening, but you can't really, like, you can't go inside the building and just do your thing. You need to have appointments with your different suppliers. But yeah, but things are starting to be happening again. So yeah.
It's definitely not going to be normal for a while, but it's just good that, because it's the same thing. Because my gem dealer just called yesterday, said they're open, but he said that they're by appointment only. So I have to make an appointment, then he'll come and get me at the elevator, and then we'll go out and I'll see things. And he said, as much as you can, like, try to do everything online. If there's anything that we could do via email, try to do that. But if you had to come in and check the stones and whatnot, then please give us a call. We'll schedule. Can you tell us a little bit more about your shows that got canceled? Because I also know, including myself and everybody else here, that probably amongst all of us, we've had a lot of shows being canceled, and that's another thing that a lot of people are dealing with.
Yeah, definitely. Yes. Well, the first thing that was canceled for me was, postponed in reality. I'm working, so you've seen that in Toronto, myself and another Quebec artist, Castonguay, we're curating a touring exhibition called Village de l'Intime. And so that was presented first in Toronto at Abozo Gallery during Design TO. And
I checked it out. It was a wonderful show. Yes.
Thanks.
Sorry, go on.
And we were supposed to have it at Gallery Lewis in Quebec City last April, and so obviously that did not happen, but we are feeling quite ambitious and just want to start doing things again. So we're gonna I'm announcing this right now. It's a total scoop. So we're gonna have it in a couple weeks. Well, less than a couple weeks, about 10 days. We're setting up the show next week, and it's going to be opening on June 6th at Galerie Lewis in Quebec City. And because of the whole situation, so things in Quebec City aren't too bad in terms of COVID. So, I mean, like, you probably, everybody watching knows about the situation in Montreal. That's like the worst in Canada.
Montreal and Toronto. Toronto is also getting up there.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely. Yeah.
Cities. That's what happens. But but yeah, Quebec City's been. I mean, not 100% spared, but they're doing okay. You know. So businesses have started reopening, I think, a couple weeks ago or something. And, you know, like, people need to get out and people need to do things. And same for the jewelry community. So we just thought, I have like half of the show is sitting in the middle of my studio in that corner, and the other half of the show is in Catherine's studio. So we figured out that the work would rather be in a gallery that's open in Quebec City than in a few boxes in our respective studios. Yeah, so that's going to be definitely a interesting experience. We're gonna meet up in Quebec City next week, and then we're gonna wear our full protective gear and set up a show together, and definitely not be able to 2-meter distance
Okay,
while we're
that's
setting
what I was
up.
going to
But,
ask you because I feel like it might be a very interesting topic for a lot of people that know how you guys are going to go about. Because I personally
yeah,
don't think we're going to go back to normal until probably 2022
no.
or something. So I'm just, that's what I was, because I was like, we need to, and I'm totally one for going out with all the precautionary measurements, like don't go to a party, don't go to Trinity Bellwoods with 10,000 people. Sorry, I'm still mad at that. So don't do stuff, but go out, go to, if, and that's what I was thinking, because I think I heard an announcement that museums and galleries are opening up in Toronto soon.
Yeah.
So I was wondering how, and I saw that a few of them are doing by time. So you buy your ticket from before and you only have till 5 to 6 to go there, and they're only letting 10 people in at that time. So if you get there at 5, you can go in. If you don't, you've lost your ticket. So I just want to know, like, are you guys thinking about something like that too for the show, or it's not going to be a huge issue?
Well, I think in terms of people visiting the gallery, it's probably just going to be, you know, like the space is already relatively small,
Small,
and
okay.
and I think it's going to be relatively easily manageable in terms of people visiting the show.
Right.
However, we're not going to be able to have an opening reception.
Okay, yeah, I figured.
But we're so there's no we haven't decided on specific dates for the show. Like we don't have a set end date. We have a somewhat set end
Date. Okay,
times.
okay,
But
okay.
we'll just see how things go. And we were super lucky. Emily Lewis, who runs the gallery, is super amazing, and
Yes.
she's also a jewelry artist who you most likely know.
Yes.
She has her business is Studio Méthode for those who might know her under that name.
Yeah.
And yeah, and she was super amazing and super understanding. And basically, at the beginning, we were supposed to have the show up for I think it was 5 weeks. And then she said, you know, I was supposed to have a call for entry this summer. I could not do that. The gallery, you know, I have more time that's open for the show. So since we don't have an opening, the show's going to be up for a longer period. And then we'll see how things go. Maybe we'll be able to have like a closing reception or something like that.
Maybe,
and
hopefully. I hope so.
together, but we'll have to see how things go. So, yeah.
No,
but
this is good.
it's
This is
super
excellent.
nice to be... yeah,
Absolutely.
we'll be. I don't know. It's a nice way to, I think, not only show people's work, but like just like get people,
just to get people,
the artists of the show, but the community in general, like get people back into the game and stimulate the community a little bit. So yeah, so I'm happy
very
we're
happy you said that, honestly, because when we even yesterday we talked, you were still. I didn't ask a lot of questions, but now that I know that it's for sure happening, because it's that like tiny light at the end of the tunnel when you're like, oh, you know, like we could start doing this with definitely. I think everything. I was talking to another friend yesterday. I was like, everything's going to be different. Everything's going to be very different. Our dining experiences, our travel experiences, our art experiences, everything's going to be very different.
Absolutely.
But it's good to know that people have already, like, you know, for example, Toronto Outdoor went online virtual, which is definitely not going to have the same effect as it has on like a physical aspect. But just seeing, and I'm hoping to get Anahita from Toronto Outdoor also here to talk to her too. But just to see that there's so many people willing to sort of come into terms with the situation and think of other ways as opposed to just being like, oh, no, I'm completely shutting down and I'm not doing anything and I'm not going to go anywhere or think of plan B or plan C. So it's very good to see that people are already trying to kind of adjust themselves with the situation as opposed to giving up and just being like, no, I don't want to risk anything. It's very nice. I'm very, very happy you said that.
At first, I feel like I was seeing all those calls for entry. You know, like New York Jewelry Week has their call for entry for the fall, and then you know, like Athens, same thing. And I was like, guys, is this still happening? Like, I don't know. I had this reaction of being like, oh, that's so scary. I don't know if I want to go to New York. But then, you know, like we just. Yeah, we need to figure it out. We can't just like stop everything and put everything on hold forever.
Exactly.
And culture is so important, and art, you know, like creativity, art, and showing art, seeing art in person is such a different experience than seeing it online. So I think it's important that we do things, you know, on a smaller scale or differently, and we'll just adapt.
Good. See, that's why I love you, because of your great energy.
I love you.
Also, I heard that Hoya apparently is happening. I was talking to the Barcelona people today regarding a show, and they said that Hoya is apparently happening. And I was like, wow, good for you guys. But they're
Yeah.
pushing it back to end of September. But apparently it's going to go on. And that also was, as much as it was a bit frightening, but I was also like,
Mhm.
good, because they're not, just, I mean, everything that was planned for summer is a bit difficult to go on with, but everything that's September,
Yeah.
October is good to see that the community is slowly sort of adjusting and turning the page, I guess.
Yeah, totally.
Good. Um, can we also get a little tour of your studio? Were you done
Sure.
talking? I'm sorry, I just cut you off.
No.
No?
We can do
Okay.
it for my studio.
Yes. Oh,
Um,
Catherine's here too
also,
now.
what?
Hello. Catherine just joined too.
Oh yes, hi,
Yeah.
Catherine.
Hi, Catherine.
We were just talking about you. I also, Pasha, knowing that we would be doing this, I've set up a micro exhibition of some of my
Oh,
work on my
wow.
table. So I'm gonna show you
Amazing.
that.
This is great.
Uh,
Thank you, Marie-Ève. That's
I'm gonna
amazing.
I'm gonna flip the camera for a sec and
Yeah,
then to
please.
show you that, and then the quick little tour of the studio, of the
Please,
very
please.
small studio.
This is amazing.
All right. Okay. Flip. Micro exhibition.
Oh my God. This is so amazing. I
So,
love this.
so this is actually the work that, except for these guys,
Yeah.
this is the work that's going in the, oh, there's one piece missing. Well, most of the work that's going in the exhibition very soon. So you've seen this work at the exhibition in Toronto this
Yes.
winter.
Yes.
So yeah, so I guess most people would probably know me for my garden series, which this piece here with the little red petals and also the blue piece over here are part
Yes.
of. So the metal is all sterling silver, and then this one has a wooden part. So all the
Wow.
big like blue rectangle is wood, and there's little paper petals that are
Yes.
sewn on it. So yeah, so these guys are from the garden series, and then all of the black pieces are my most recent pieces. So these two neck pieces, and then that was my only kind of, somewhat art related
Can we see it
anything
closer? Can we see
during
the
the
earrings
pandemic.
closer? Yeah,
So
okay.
yeah,
Okay, so pandemic earrings.
yeah, they're my pandemic earrings. Let's say it
Oh,
that way.
wow.
I like
So
that.
wait, what are the silver pieces in there? Is that, I
Uh,
can't
they're just little silver
Oh,
bars that are embedded into. This is
okay.
wood also.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
what I was wondering. If the metal, if it was metal underneath, or if it was
No,
wood.
it's wood.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how do
So
you
my
color
pro
the wood?
exhibition. It's colored with black paint.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's simple.
I
Voila.
really, really like the necklaces. The earrings too. The
Thank
necklaces
you.
are very, very cool. I really like
Yay.
them.
Thanks,
Because I've
Pasha.
also, I have to say, I haven't seen you work with very many
I'm coming back to you.
shapes like the high. Shape, what do you call that? Like a teardrop shape and stuff. Because you're usually very angular, not very angular, but you have, some sort of a geometric. Um,
Yeah, I'm in an oval phase, like
Good.
totally. I
Cool.
don't
I'm
know what it
wondering,
is,
when
but
is my
yeah.
face gonna change? Because I'm like, is my face gonna change? Because I've just been stuck in this face for 15 years now, and I'm like, am I gonna come out of this whole phase or not? I guess not.
Yeah, I don't. It's fun. It's funny when that happens to me. I feel like sometimes I have an urge to use like a very specific shape for like a year or
Yeah.
6 months, and I can't explain it, but it's so strong, and I know that I can't do anything else than that. Like right now, I really feel like I need to work with black.
Yeah.
Everything
Okay.
needs to be black. I
And
can't really give you a reason, but that's such a strong feeling that I have.
good. No, it's good. And also, I was gonna ask. I mean, I know the answer to this question, but you're a model maker. You just don't go for it. You make models. You make sure that for no.
I've changed, Pasha.
Oh, you've changed. Okay. Okay. You've changed.
That's also
So tell me,
that's really funny. I feel like I also go through phases in terms of my process. You know, when I was in school, you would look at my sketchbook and it literally looked like a mathematician notebook, or like it was all formulas, and I was like, okay, if I want this to go down at this speed, it needs to have this weight because of the coefficient with gravity and blah blah. Like it was just, I was nuts. And then when I was at Harbourfront Center, then I was all about like paper models and doing like little maquettes of every piece and just like playing around with shapes. And then I feel like now I'm way more into drawing. Which I've never really done before. So I draw a lot of shapes and then combine them together. And then whenever I have a like kind of an idea of what I want to make, I start making it and design it as I'm making it.
See, that was my style, and you all gave me a hard time at Harbourfront for it. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, like, it's funny because I feel like I waste so much time doing that, but it feels so natural to work this way.
Yes.
Yeah, so I don't know. I feel like there's something soothing about working working like that, even though you're more a little bit like, you know, you're uncertain of what the next step is going to be all the time.
Absolutely.
But there's something like creativity wise. There's something that's so satisfying in terms of working like that.
See, I'm all about that stuff because I would never. I mean, there's certain projects that you obviously have to go as planned. If there's a custom project, like engagement rings, all that stuff. But especially during these times, I've tried the two different styles. Well, I have to make something, and like there's 1 millimeter of a difference in something, and it just ruins my whole week. As opposed to just starting with a sheet and then just adding this and then subtracting that and then whatever. Because there's no wrong or right when you're just going for yourself. And I don't have to make these pieces for anybody. So I'm just like, and it gives me the freedom. And to be honest with you, my motivation and creativity with those projects are a lot higher when I have to sit there and look at this sketch and be like, okay, I have to make this exactly to the point.
Yeah.
Good. Welcome to the other side.
Oh, thanks. It's scary, but I like it.
No, it's good. It's good. And you're so good. I'm not saying this because you're here, but you're so good with your fabrication techniques that I think both systems would work for you perfectly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If there's students watching right now, they're probably like, what the hell?
They told us not to do this, but now they're all talking about it. No.
Well, I mean, 10 years after you're done school, you're like, done.
You're like, whatever. It's just no. Yeah. And then you don't use a lot of 3D printing and stuff in your work, right? It's mostly hand fabrication. No. Okay.
Yeah. I love fabricating.
Yeah.
And I can't plan ahead. So,
No, it's good. It's good. Yeah. I mean, I've started to use 3D a little bit more because of my line of work and the productions. But yes, I'm also, and I've seen you when you fabricate. You're like in a completely, like you're Zen mode and you love it. So it's good. Do you also have access to soldering at your studio?
Yes. Do you want to see?
Yes. Show us the studio.
Okay. That's back great. On the other side. So this is my soldering station.
Okay.
Short time. My soldering station, I have one of these little guys, a little Smith torch, and I work with a tiny little propane tank and a wonderful oxygen concentrator.
Oh, right. Okay, those are really great. Perfect.
Yeah. So, yeah, that works really well. And I've also set up this weird ventilation system that right now is not hooked up onto anything. But this is a fan for hydroponic agriculture. And then I have another piece of this stuff that just like hooks up on there onto a box that goes in the window. So the air just goes outside. Right. And it works really well. So yeah, that's my tiny little soldering station.
It's perfect. Honestly, if I had access to something like that.
Oh, hi, I see myself right there.
Okay, you're in the mirror. I can see it too. Okay.
So I
And
can watch myself while I'm soldering. And while we're at it, let's do the rest of the tour. So I
yes,
have my
please.
jewelry bench right here. My dad built that for me
Oh,
about 10 years ago.
wow.
So
Okay,
it's very
yes.
nice.
That's nice.
And there's a secret message that my dad wrote that's under the drawer. So I never see it, but I know it's there. He
Oh, that's
says
so
something like,
cool.
"I'm proud of you," or something like that.
Oh,
That's
that's
really
so
cute.
nice. That's so
Yeah.
cool. Good dad.
And
Perfect dad.
yeah, and you must know that my dad had. I'm gonna come back for a sec while I tell you that
Yes,
story.
please.
My
Yes.
dad had a really hard time with me deciding to go to jewelry,
Oh, I didn't know this.
because yeah, he always thought I was gonna be like a great scientist or whatever.
You could have been, in all honesty, you really could have been. And you are kind of a scientist. Like when I looked at
I'm
your
kind of a
sketchbook at Harbourfront,
scientist.
you are,
Thank you.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You are. You are.
So when my dad made that bench for me and wrote this little thing under the bench, I felt like that was his way of telling me that he was cool with
He's
my
okay
decision.
now. He's okay with it, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so I like that
That's
bench.
amazing.
It's perfect. It works well.
That's good.
And then back to the tour. So I have
Yes.
stuff over there. I have my little drill press and
Oh,
some
perfect.
storage for
Okay.
all my other stuff. My roommate hiding in the corner. And
That's funny.
this is my polishing station
Oh,
in the
perfect.
closet.
I've seen that closet before. And I always thought, what are you going to use that closet for? That's perfect. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
So yeah, that's my polishing station, and I use this little magazine thing to keep all the dust
That's what I was going
in
to ask you. I
there.
was like, what's that red thing over there? Is it going to catch all your filing? That's smart. That's smart.
I'm super DIY.
That's very good.
And
That's
then
perfect.
I haven't hooked that up yet, but there's a hole that I've drilled over here, and you can
Oh,
see I made
my.
a mistake.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna hook up a shop vac. Hello, I'm gonna hook up a shop vac right
Okay.
there, so that it can suck in all the gross stuff.
All the gross stuff. See,
So
that's
yeah,
good because it's always also good to see. That's why I also had a very high appreciation for you because you always do things by standards. Like you're not like like you're thinking about your ventilation, you're thinking about your polishing machine because these are things that sometimes you just don't want to do because it's the last
yeah,
step and you're like whatever, who cares? But then at
it
the end of the
works.
day, it comes back to haunt you. So it's a very good you're a very good example, Marielle Castonguay. Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you.
And I know that not everybody has access to the studio, and it's very hard, but it's obviously like a very it's everybody's situation is different, but hopefully at some point everybody can have access to a little bit. I just feel bad for people who had their stuff. Like I know the Harbourfront residents had their like they couldn't go to Harbourfront to grab their tools, and I really felt bad because I
Yeah,
was like, that would have driven me crazy to know that I have something. And it's also, I mean, it's like you can't get mad at anybody because of the situation right now. But if you have access to your workshop and you have that, and you're apparently, I'm not apparently, clearly doing a great job, and you have windows and everything, so it's great. So you
yeah.
have that show coming up and then nothing else planned. What about, I was going to ask you this, I'll just ask this and then maybe we'll wrap it up. If people also have questions, we can answer those. But is Parcours Bijou still going on in Paris or no?
As far as we know, it is.
Okay, and that's next year, or
That's
is it?
in the fall. It's in
Okay,
October.
okay,
So that show I was telling you about, that's happening in Quebec City very soon, is also going to
going
Parcours
to.
Bijou,
Okay,
Galerie of Gérard.
perfect.
So yeah, so we'll see how things unfold. If we might, it is a possibility that we won't be able to go. But we'll do everything we can to still have the show happen. You know, like it's Parcours Bijou is an event that's made up of all satellite events. Like
Yeah, actually, maybe you
there's
can
no
just quickly
central.
describe to people what Parcours Bijou is because maybe some
Yeah,
people don't know.
So I took part in it in 2017, and then going back this fall. But it's how do you say in English? Triennial
Yeah,
exhibition.
triennial, I guess. Yeah.
They do. It's basically, as I was saying, there's no set. Munich Jewelry Week is centered around schmuck, and then you have like there's all those jewelry weeks that are around, like Barcelona Jewelry Week is around Hoya, but at Parc
exactly.
Bijou it's just exhibitions all over the city. And it's so they have a call for entry for projects from local and international artists and groups of artists. And Catherine and I submitted our exhibition project last year, about a year ago, and we got selected, and then we had to find a gallery space. And we're super lucky. We Galerie Objet Rare. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
No.
It's a small gallery, but it's like small art jewelry gallery. They're super wonderful.
Okay. What is their name again?
Yeah, Objet Rare, rare object.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're gonna work with us to host the show. So hopefully Catherine and I at least, and maybe some of the artists are gonna be able to go. If not, we'll see if we can sort of ship the work. I don't know. We'll see what the world situation is at that point.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, because it's the same thing with Barcelona and Hoya and the show that we're doing. It's just everything's up in the air, yeah.
Still in the works, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good, perfect. What time are we at? Okay, perfect. I think I don't want to wear you out, and I hope that people enjoyed this. Do you have anything else that you want to say about?
Thank you.
No, thank you. I think this was a good conversation.
Thank you so much.
I mean, I hope that everybody here enjoyed it. And just before we say our final goodbyes, I'm asking everybody, if you're interested in this series of interviews, please reach out to me, either through MetalAid or Instagram, whatever it is, and then we'll send you an email and organize. We would love to get as many as you in here, just to catch up, introduce you and your work and what's going on in your life, and also just to know that everybody's in this weird odd situation. And we greatly appreciate everybody who joined us today, and Maria for being the first person who did this. Thank you so much.
And I also just want to say before we end this, if there's anyone, so as we mentioned before, I'm like the distant collaborator with with MetalAid. But if there's anyone in Quebec that wants to reach out to MetalAid, they need someone to sort of channel them in or anything, or also same for our jewelry forum. If you have an event or you have any kind of information that you want to share with the international community, feel free to reach out to me. I can be reached on through my website, marievgcastonguay.com. Or on Instagram or anywhere. I'm really easy to find. And one last thing, I'm sporting these wonderful earrings by Anne-Sophie Vallée.
Oh, I was going to say, and Anne-Sophie, I just saw her there.
Hi, she's going to be one of your future interviewees.
Yes, she is. She's going to be. I saw a few people here that are going to be my future interviewees. Anne-Sophie's definitely there. Gayan, I'm going to get in touch with you too. I need you on this too. Sorry, this is kind of unprofessional, but I'm going to get in touch with you. And also, I was going to say, just emphasize on, I mean, MetalAid is also very important, but, you know, we have a great Canadian ambassador for our jewelry forum. So please reach out, let her know about your events so we could just kind of gradually move on into the international level and have more Canadian artists. I mean, right now, so it's a bit of a tricky time for exhibitions and stuff, but you know, you never know. Just reach out to Marie-Ève, let her know about your plans for our jewelry forum, and she'll definitely get the word in, and we'll just have more exposure in Canada because we deserve it.
Yes, we're fantastic.
Okay. Once again, thank you so much, everybody that joined us. It was quite busier than I thought it would be, so this is a good sign. So thank you so much. Hope to hear from you all. Yes, you are popular. Everybody loves you. No, honestly, Maria, thank you so much. This was very nice. This was a very heartwarming
Thank
conversation.
you. This was
Thank you.
great. I'm looking
Perfect.
forward to see the next
Absolutely.
interview. This was fun.
Absolutely.
Thank
Oh,
you.
actually, next interview is going to be Chantel's here, and I've already changed her date, so she's gonna kill me. But it's gonna be on Friday at 5:30. Chantel, I'll send you an email. Please don't kill me. But yes, it's gonna be Chantel Gushue from Halifax, Nova Scotia. She's also with Co-Adorn, so it's gonna be a very. She's also a superwoman like Marielle. She has like 20 things that she's doing at the same time. So I'm sure it's going to be another great, interesting demo and conversation with Chantel on Friday. So we'll hopefully see you soon. There.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks, Mario. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Good night.